The following clip is from the North to South Show, live every Monday and Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where we talk SEC football everything. We'd love to have you out next show, but for now, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button, and enjoy this clip. So now we're going to talk about my South Carolina Gamecocks and the extremely interesting quarterback situation that we are now placed in after watching this spring game, because as a Gamecocks fan myself, you know I am a Gamecocks super fan. I classify myself as the biggest Gamecocks fan in the world, you could argue, and I'm actually going to USC next year, which I'm very excited about. But the QB position, it looked like, especially after last year, the whole Colin Hill situation, we let Ryan Helinski walk away, which I am not happy at all with. He is going to do some amazing things at Northwestern next year, and I'm sad that he's no longer the Gamecocks quarterback. And then you have Luke Doty, your four-star freshman last year, coming from Myrtle Beach, finishing off the season, and he looked very good at the end of the season, especially for a freshman. You get thrown into a situation where there's a whole bunch of coaching controversy, and just the program is kind of in a mud pit at that point where it's just like you have no idea what's going on. There's coaching things everywhere. You don't know who your head coach is going to be next year. Guys are leaving left, right, and center. It was not a good situation that Luke Doty was thrown into in this Carolina offense last season, but he did really, really well. For a freshman, I'm not saying that he did spectacularly well where we're looking at him being like, Luke Doty is going to go out and win a Heisman this year, but he did very well for a freshman quarterback thrown into that situation at South Carolina. I thought Luke Doty did an amazing job. Fast forward to this season, quarterback situation is completely different because you have your first string quarterback from last season leave, and in my opinion, who was your second string quarterback, but whatever, it's an argument for another time. So now, Luke Doty's your main guy. Then you have Colton Gauthier, your best recruit from the 2021 class, three-star quarterback coming in. And then on top of that, you have an FCS transfer from St. Francis along with his tight end partner, E.J. Jenkins. But of course, I'm talking about Jason Brown. Jason Brown out of St. Francis coming in, transferring at the quarterback position for South Carolina this year, changed the narrative of this quarterback battle, which I think I say changed the narrative out of it because if anyone would have said before this spring game, I think Jason Brown should be the number one quarterback for the South Carolina Gamecocks or should be the starting quarterback going into next season for the Gamecocks, you'd think they were absolutely insane. If anybody walked up to you and said that, you would have said, Luke Doty's the guy. He's the most mobile. You look at any good SEC offense, usually the quarterback's mobile. You look at any good offense in all of college football, usually the quarterback's mobile, and that's something that you just need in this day and age of football. Luke Doty's got a good arm on him. He could fix up a few things with the deep ball, but if he hits the deep ball, Luke Doty is going to be one of the greatest Gamecocks quarterbacks that we've ever seen in the Gamecocks history. And then in walks Jason Brown in the game. So we're looking at, I think we saw him late first quarter, something like that. Late first quarter, you saw Luke Doty took the first team snaps. Obviously, you saw him take most of the snaps. And then you see your next quarterback you have in Colton Gauthier, your big 2021 recruit. And then in walks Jason Brown. He just gets one. I'm pretty sure he only had one drive or something, maybe two, in his time in the actual spring game action, because you had the spring game, or first you had like the pre-game drills and warm-ups, whatever you want to call it. You get into the actual spring game, which was 2 12-minute quarters of like live action football, what we're used to watching in the spring game, and then we go into the awards, and then we finished up with situational stuff where you had red zone, you had goal line drives, and then you had, you had like third down completions. Jason Brown walks in, takes his drive, and just everything he looked like in the pocket. His vision was very, very good. I loved the patience that he had in the pocket. I think something that the coaches have been raving, and I think a lot of people, why they are so high on Jason Brown, is just the quick release that Jason Brown has. He can throw the ball quick. When he sees something, he can get that ball out of his hands quick. And the downfield accuracy is what got me most hung up on this whole quarterback battle, because he was pretty nice throwing the ball deep. Like, the secondary for the Gamecocks, yes, I'm not saying that it's a top-notch SEC secondary right now, especially in the spring game when you have a bunch of guys out and it's a spring scrimmage. But still, take what you have on the defense. And as long as you're able to take what you have and work on the defense, if you're successful, I don't think you should be penalized for that. And Jason Brown was successful on every single play he did in that game. It just looked like his mobility was great, rolling out of the pocket, just finding guys. He's a mobile guy, not saying that he's more mobile and more athletic than Luke Doty, but I think that Jason Brown could hold his own. And just his connection to EJ Jenkins, I think EJ Jenkins, before the game, I kind of had my bold take. I didn't make it public because it was like 10 minutes till game day, till kickoff, and I was just like, I want to look for something in this game. I'm going to make a bold prediction that EJ Jenkins catches a touchdown this game. You got a 6'8 tight end transferring from FCS football. I think he's going to have a pretty good game here. And I can't remember, it was early first quarter. I can't remember if Luke or Colton was the quarterback, but he had his chance in the end zone, and RJ just pass interference him because he's a 6'8 guy. He's way too big to be contested with. Then you got your chance with your quarterback from St. Francis, and it was just such a nice connection in the end zone. Jason Brown, that's when he made a statement that he is here to battle for this quarterback position in South Carolina. And then you go into, I'm pretty sure it was the red zone drive. So you're starting on the 20. Jason Brown finds EJ Jenkins for a pinpoint throw again in the end zone. And it's just the connection for him. The balls that Jason Brown was throwing was just so fluent and so clean that it had a lot of Gamecocks fans thinking, especially watching Luke Doty over the last season and even points in the spring game on the deep ball, just not hitting it deep, just not being successful deep. Now, one thing I do want to say, and what I'm going to kind of wrap up this segment on is, first of all, I am a complete hypocrite if I don't bring this up, because last season, my whole argument, or a lot of my argument on why the Gamecocks should not be starting Colin Hill, nothing against Colin Hill, like nothing I say against any player, any student athlete is ever personal. These guys are doing something that I could never do, let alone Colin Hill, who had to come back from 3 ACL injuries to becoming a starting quarterback in the SEC. He's an amazing guy. Nothing against this is personal against him. But I thought we should have had Ryan Helinski starting next year because he had that SEC experience. I thought he was much better throwing the ball deep. Like, we could not throw the ball plus 20 yards last season. And a majority of my arguments were, how do you expect a guy in the Mountain West who won 3 games for Colorado State in the Mountain West? We're playing in the SEC. You put in a guy who's won 3 games in the Mountain West. He can't even be the best quarterback in the Mountain West. And suddenly you have him coming in as your starting quarterback at South Carolina. Why are we doing that? It would be terrible for me to now say, I think Jason Brown should be the quarterback, when I can make the exact same argument for him. Jason Brown is coming from the SCS. South Carolina's spring game defense and Georgia's defense next season, I can guarantee you, are going to be way different. You look at Clemson's defense. You are going to have constant pressure from Georgia and from Clemson in those defensive fronts. They are 2 of the best next season. So for me to say that just watching Jason Brown after 1 scrimmage and seeing him pretty much have as much time as he'd like in the pocket, yes, he got pressured a bit, but he was still able to move around it. I don't know if I could say anything to the magnitude of saying I think Jason Brown should start next season. Like right now, if the season were to start right now, I'd say Jason Brown was starting. But what I am going to argue, and what I would like to see from the Gamecocks, let Jason Brown get the opportunities to become the starting quarterback. And what I mean by that is give him the opportunities in practice. Do not cement Luke Doty into the first team starters. Do not only have Luke Doty working with the first team, because this isn't even just for a quarterback battle situation. Let's say Luke Doty, knock on wood, please say Luke Doty doesn't get hurt, because I do not want that to happen. But let's say Luke Doty does go out and the worst comes to work and Luke Doty does get hurt next season. We need guys working with the ones. So I'd love to see Jason Brown get more reps with the ones. Just give him the opportunities. Give him what Ryan Helinski did not get last year at South Carolina, because all we saw from him was a meaningless drive against Vanderbilt and then meaningless drives against Texas A&M, where he was able to go and score the only points against Texas A&M that we scored in that whole game. If Ryan Helinski goes out, which I'm pretty sure he will, he's going to go out and do something really good at Northwestern next year. It will suck for Gamecocks fans knowing that we had him in our program and now he's going to do amazing things there. Do not let that happen to Jason Brown. Yes, he might not be the guy, and that's okay. I'm not saying don't start Luke Doty, but just give him the opportunities and the chances to become the starting quarterback. It doesn't mean start him. It means give him the chances in practice to prove that he can be the starting quarterback for the South Carolina Gamecocks team. And that's what I'm really trying to get at with this whole scenario, because I know it's something that Gamecock fans have been very passionate and very fired up about over the last day on social media, go on any of the Gamecocks fan accounts or even Gamecocks football accounts, you will see Jason Brown for QB1. Then you'll see under that like 20 replies, no, Luke Doty should be QB1. It's good to talk about. It's good for content and everything.